Welcome to today's video, 2 Corinthians 4 verse 6 explained. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts, to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Let's look at what this verse means. Paul is reminding us of the very beginning, when God spoke and brought light into a world filled with darkness. Just as God created physical light in the creation story, He now brings spiritual light into human hearts. The darkness here represents not just the physical absence of light, but also the spiritual blindness that people have before they know God. Before coming to Christ, people live in spiritual darkness, unable to truly see or understand God's glory. But God, who created light with a word, is the same God who brings understanding and revelation to those who believe in Jesus. The shining in our hearts means that God has opened our spiritual eyes. He gives us the ability to know Him, to see the truth, and to understand who He really is. This is not something people can achieve on their own. It is an act of God's power and mercy. Paul connects this light to the knowledge of the glory of God. Glory means the greatness, beauty, and majesty of God. Through Jesus Christ, God reveals His true character and love. When the verse talks about the face of Jesus Christ, it means that Jesus is the clearest and most direct way we can see God's glory. In Jesus, we see God's compassion, His power, His willingness to forgive, and His desire to have a relationship with people. So, God's light not only brings understanding, but also reveals who He truly is through Jesus. It is as if God turns on a light inside of us so that we can see the beauty of His character. This changes how we see the world, ourselves, and other people. We begin to live with a new perspective, guided by the knowledge of who God is. This verse also gives hope. Just as God was able to create light out of nothing, He can bring hope, purpose, and transformation into any life, no matter how dark things may seem. God's power to shine light out of darkness means no one is beyond His reach. He can take someone who feels lost or confused and give them clarity, purpose, and joy. Paul's message is to encourage believers that their faith and understanding are gifts from God. The ability to know God is a miracle that happens in every believer's heart. We are not left in darkness because God has chosen to shine His light within us. Finally, this light is not meant to be hidden. As God's light shines in our hearts, we are also called to reflect that light to others. The knowledge of God's glory in Christ is meant to be shared, so that others can also experience this transformation.